Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Welcome to the channel. Please like and subscribe where we help and heal one day at a time. So are we really crazy? What is going on with us? I'll tell you what, we are truth seekers. And why are we here? Why are we watching hours upon hours of videos and researching all about this narcissism? What did it really do to us? Is there hope for healing? Can the relationship change? What was our reality? And the hardest part is how many lies they told us. Nothing seemed as it really was. So just like if you put your keys on the table and you go back to get your keys and they're not there, you start racking your brain like, I put them there. Like, where did they go? How did they move? It starts making you feel crazy. If that happened with everything in your life, um, you go to wash your hair and it turns out to be ketchup and you're like, how did this get here? And what's going on? And you start feeling like you're crazy. Nothing's making sense. So you adamantly make sure everything's in place. And then again, all these odd things are happening. And that's pretty much what the narcissistic relationship is like. We're truth seekers. We're trying to understand. So we might question them on something, and whatever they say is fine. You just want to know the truth. It's not even that big of a deal. Did you move my keys? Does it really matter if they did or didn't? If they tell you where they are, it's all good. But they in so many different instances will lie and show you proof of what their lie is, to where you start feeling crazy. And then with the gaslighting and then turning things around on you, where you start to question what you did, it does start to make you feel crazy. And when you're in a loving relationship, that's your safety net, and you should be able to communicate with each other. And so you go to your safety net, and then it's all unstable. There's no true connection. Everything is one-sided, so it starts to throw the balance off, and we just try to rebalance it, and then it turns out to be a lie. And it does start to make you crazy because it's so unsettling. Nothing is as it seems. And especially if you go through the discard stage, love is forever. And how did this happen? And if you start paying attention to the way that they've talked to you over the years or their actions, um, how often did they try to connect with you? I mean, they do learn uh, to show empathy, but they don't feel empathy. And it's kind of like a child. They're just stuck in a certain um, part of their life. And it's kind of like diving off into adulthood. It might be scary, but if you take that leap, you grow and you become an adult. But they're too afraid to take that leap. And they will always stay back because they're too afraid to go into that adulthood. Something usually has happened in their childhood to where it's just too scary. And they just racked it up as they're never going to do it. Because I'll tell you what, I did a back handspring, landed on my head. I will never, ever do that again. But I was a diver, and there was times I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I kept smacking myself, and I'm like, no, I know I can do this. So I was able to do the trick. But with the narcissist, it's kind of like that back handspring. I got hurt too bad. I am not going to ever try that again. And so they just stay in that infantile state. And it's kind of interesting. What would we all be like if we weren't taught manners, if we weren't taught how to share? People do have kind of a selfish tendency. They also want what they want. It's part of human nature. But the narcissist is just stuck in it's all about me. That's my comfort level. And I'm not going to take that leap into adulthood. So they become even more selfish. Usually once you get something, uh, you get more and more spoiled. You expect more and more. And the narcissist doesn't want to change it because everything's working for them. So can they heal? Usually not. They might be able to go to therapy, but the true connection, that's what motivates people. And that's what brings people closer together. So if they don't have that connection, we're just objects to them that can be discarded. And they do start to devalue us. The way they talk to us, they manipulate us so they get everything that they want. and it just gets harder and harder. And as you can tell, I'm a teacher. I teach on different animals, things like that. And I teach this class on dinosaurs where they can see ultraviolet light, extra colors that we can't see. So we're truth seekers. And I know with me, I try to figure out like, what other color would there be? And I kind of like rack my brain. What other color could there be? And I'll never see it in person. It's just beyond my realm. And the narcissist, we're trying to understand something that we just have to accept, just like whatever those colors are that the dinosaurs could see. We'll never know. So we can research and try to mix colors, and it's colors we can't see. So as we're seeking this truth of how can somebody not feel empathy? How are they that empty inside? Are they really sad? Are they angry? If somebody's sad, usually you give them a hug, and it kind of comforts them. But we keep spending hours and hours just trying to understand it. And just like the sounds that dogs can hear, we can't hear them. We'll never know what that sound is like, no matter how much we try to figure it out. And it's kind of like with religion. We have certain proofs, but a lot of it is just like our gut. We either know that this makes sense or it doesn't to us. And just like with the narcissist, we have the facts. We have the facts. Just like in religion, you had the facts. Take it however you want, but you had the facts. Maybe not all of them. Same with the narcissist. You might not have all the facts, but you have enough facts. Your gut instinct is leading you to make the decision on, is this a healthy relationship? The more you learn, I'm sure the more things match up. The way you were treated, the more you tried, the less they tried. When they started to try, as soon as they had that comfort zone, they stopped trying. And usually you keep trying because it's like, this is getting better. This is great. As opposed to, there, I did everything I needed to do. I'm good again. And it's just so sad how many of these relationships fall apart because, one side really does truly deeply love that person. And even now, searching to understand it, whether it's to heal our own pain, to understand what we did wrong. And that's a problem. We're searching what we did wrong. And of course, we had some errors, but I'd like you to comment below. Did you try to say, what can we do? Can we try this? Or as opposed to, you need to change that. And the narcissist will turn it on everything. You cry too much. You're too emotional. You're always coming home late. Just on and on, that everything's our fault, as opposed to let's mesh together, figure out a compromise. So we're trying to figure out, how do we make this better? And it's just like ultraviolet light. We're never going to see it. We're never going to see it. We can understand it. We can look at the facts and compare things and make a rational decision. But searching and searching for truth. I'd love you to stay watching this channel where we help and heal, but we do waste a lot of our time. Sometimes it is soothing to understand and build a community where others have gone through the same things that we have, but to look at the big picture of how much they took from us. And I guess we're trying to search how to get that back. And if we stay in a narcissistic relationship, it's just going to keep draining us. And it's hard to move on. But I guess it's time to do what's healthy. If things could get better with a narcissist, go for it. That I'm all for that. And I would love that situation too. But all these comments I read from people, things just get worse second, third, fourth time around. And if you look back at it too, maybe you break up once, but how many of us have broken up 7, 8, 9 times? Like 7, 8, 9, 10 times. usually you work through things. So the narcissist loves to ghost us, gives us the silent treatment. And the silent treatment is the most hurtful thing I have ever been through. I can handle you calling me ugly, you yelling at me. Can I can handle the truth. I'm not ugly, but the truth. And the more lies we go through, the more we feel crazy, the more we try to figure out, how is this happening? And we don't know what the truth is. And then we start to question the person. And I want to bring up a point. This was one thing that I was trying to figure out, because they're like, they just mirror us. The narcissist, your relationship is them mirroring you. And so it's like you fell in love with yourself, is what they're saying. And I kept thinking about it. It's like, when I was happy and excited, yeah, things were really, really good. But when you started to get some lies, or things didn't seem right, or instead of canceling, they just blew you off. So you're like, hey, what was going on? And then they get mad that you questioned it, and it throws it off. So you're like, whoa, did I say something wrong? Or could I have said that differently? Or should I have even said anything? I know usually he goes bowling after work, or whatever the situation is. So then we are like kind of a little more meek. And then that's how they look at us. So when we're in the kind of confrontational way, then that's what they see. We're just this confrontational person, can't handle their emotions. But it's, of course you'd get frustrated if the love of your life doesn't respond to you, or if they lie to you. And I think that's where the devaluation begins. When we're in the beginning, we're all excited, nothing's wrong. We just met this person, things are going great, they're treating us fantastic with the love bombs. And then all of a sudden, something goes wrong, whatever it is, usually something minor. And as soon as we change into a person where we question something, or ask for something for ourselves, where we give and give, and it's not matched, and that starts to hurt. Like, I did all this stuff for you, and you won't take the time of day for me. And then there's also that balance, because there are times that they do some pretty nice things for us, but it's kind of weird how it's just for their satisfaction. It's not necessarily that they have a kind heart. Either they feel obligated so you don't leave, or they want to show off to society, be the hero. But the more we search, um, there comes a time, just like with religion, there comes a time where you go with your gut and just got to believe that you made the right decision, because you have the facts. You've watched all these videos, you know the way that you were treated, you know the way it ended at the drop of a hat. And it's mind-blowing to me how many of us have gone through that same cycle. And another thing I find kind of interesting is, technically, there's probably about 20 to 25% people out in the world that are narcissists. If you look at statistics, it says like 5 or 6%, but those are only people that can be diagnosed if they have the traits, plus it affected their life in some negative way. So if they are functioning and it hasn't affected their life yet, they won't get diagnosed as NPD, but they are still narcissists. So the way society is, it's about 20, 25%. And if you think about the divorce rate being 50%, so we have 4 sections, right? 25 each, 25% narcissist, 25%, or really 75%, but these match up. So you got these couples and then these couples. So 75% of us are pretty normal, and then you got your narcissist. So these two match up. This is the divorce rate, and the people who love each other unconditionally. stay together. That's just my take on it. It is interesting that more women initiate divorce than men. It's about 2/3 of females will initiate it. There are female narcissists, don't get me wrong, but there are more male narcissists. So I wonder too, is that why the females initiate it? The males, they might not want to give up the house. Um, they are the ones who were being fed, got everything they wanted, and the female was the one that was not always, but in this scenario, or you can switch it however you want to switch it, but the narcissist is probably not the one to initiate the divorce usually, unless they just go off with a new supply, but they can get the new supply and not even have to worry about leaving. They can stay married and have a new supply. So the empath is the one usually who would leave because it just gets too unbearable. But there's also that codependency that we have to watch out for. Because right now, all of us, we're still hurting, some of us for years. And just keep searching in your heart, not so much on the answers of what narcissism is, but on the answers to what's going to make you happy, what you need to change in your life. Do you need to do more activities, or, spend some time with friends, or go for a walk on the beach? So those are some really important things that we need to research too. So keep learning about narcissism. Once you understand it, it can help you heal. So it is important. And also research other things that'll make you happy. It's also good to know about narcissism so we can be aware of other relationships that we might fall into. So please like and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow.